The story of Robin Hood is one of Britain's most enduring legends, set around the medieval times, likely between the 12th and 13th centuries, during the reign of Richard the Lionheart. Here's a detailed version of the story. Background and setting. Robin Hood is usually portrayed as a highly skilled archer and swordsman who resides in Sherwood Forest, Nottinghamshire. He's often depicted as wearing green, which helps him blend in with the forest surroundings. His band of outlaws, called the Merry Men, includes memorable figures such as Little John, his loyal companion and strongman, Friar Tuck, a jovial, food-loving priest, Will Scarlet, a passionate and sometimes reckless fighter, and Maid Marian, Robin's love interest and an equal partner in his adventures. The central conflict. Robin Hood's legendary deeds begin when he becomes an outlaw, driven to defy the corrupt sheriff of Nottingham. The sheriff exploits the poor by imposing heavy taxes and punishing those who cannot pay, aiming to enrich himself and maintain control over the region. The sheriff and other nobility often seize lands from the poor, leaving them to starve. In Robin's case, the injustice is personal. He was wrongfully accused of a crime, resulting in the loss of his land and status. Now banished from society, Robin makes Sherwood Forest his home, gathering other outlaws who are also victims of the sheriff's cruelty. Together, they form a community bound by loyalty, justice, and a desire to defend the powerless. Robbing from the rich, giving to the poor. Robin Hood and his merry men begin a campaign of redistribution, robbing the wealthy and the corrupt to return money and resources to the oppressed villagers. Robin's raids on the sheriff's convoys and wealthy nobles are executed with cunning and skill, usually without causing harm. Robin's acts make him a folk hero among the common people, as he restores their stolen wealth and gives them hope. But his actions make him an even greater enemy to the sheriff, who views Robin as a threat to his power and wealth. Famous adventures and encounters. Some of Robin Hood's most famous escapades are documented in ballads and stories that have been passed down through generations. 1. Robin meets Little John. The two encounter each other on a narrow bridge in the forest. They engage in a playful but intense fight with quarterstaffs, testing each other's strength and skill. Robin ultimately loses, but impressed by Little John's bravery and loyalty, invites him to join the Merry Men. Number 2. Robin and the Bishop of Hereford. In one tale, Robin captures the wealthy Bishop of Hereford, who is known for exploiting the poor. Robin and his men disguise themselves as beggars and monks, ultimately leading the bishop into a trap. Robin humiliates the bishop and forces him to distribute his wealth to the people. 3. Rescuing Maid Marian. Maid Marian, Robin's beloved, is often portrayed as a noblewoman who shares Robin's passion for justice. In some stories, she is held captive by the sheriff or other enemies of Robin, and he risks his life to save her. Together, they embody a love story of bravery and partnership. 4. The Golden Arrow Tournament. The sheriff, desperate to capture Robin, sets up an archery contest with a prize of a golden arrow, hoping Robin will not be able to resist the challenge. Despite the danger, Robin disguises himself and competes, ultimately winning the arrow. Though his identity is exposed, he narrowly escapes, outsmarting the sheriff once again. King Richard and the Resolution. According to legend, King Richard the Lionheart returns to England after the Crusades and hears of Robin Hood's actions. Unlike the sheriff, Richard sees Robin as a hero and a defender of justice. In some versions of the tale, Richard pardons Robin and his merry men, restoring Robin's noble status and ending the tyranny of the sheriff. However, in later tales, Robin is betrayed by a monk and fatally wounded. In a final act of heroism, he fires an arrow from his deathbed, requesting to be buried where it lands. Legacy and symbolism. Robin Hood's story symbolizes the struggle for justice and equality in the face of oppression. His actions inspire courage and hope, embodying the ideal of using one's talents to uplift others. As a legendary folk hero, he represents the triumph of good over evil, justice over corruption, and the power of a united community. The tales of Robin Hood have been retold and reimagined across centuries, evolving but always reflecting themes of loyalty, bravery, and compassion for the less fortunate.